clockwise. Again, we from noon to 1:30, the harbor is open so local traffic can get through, and then we'll jump right to Superstock Racing at 1:30, and at 2:30 the Super Cats will run. You're listening to live coverage on the Zone 97.7 Sports Radio here in the Florida Keys from the Lichty Marina Marathon Broadcast Center. They have a full service and parts department and also carry new and used boats and trailers. Lichty Marine is proud to sponsor our radio and broadcast of the 7 Mile Offshore Grand Prix. And our live stream is brought to you by Maximum Inflation. Maximum Inflation, presenting sponsor with their brand CO2 cartridges, gas for everything inflatable. Maximum Inflation.
We have 3 classes racing here, so it's going to be kind of hard for the people on the stream to see who's winning what class. But right now, OC Racing jumped out to the early lead. They're running unopposed in bracket 300, so there's a little bit of a bragging rights element to today. The Spectre 2 conchs is in. Elijah Kingery and the SV1 National Championship team, Farnsworth V-Bottom, is on the inside, so they've pulled out to the lead in the
it appears they've got the green flag, so we're off and racing here on the second day of the Race World Offshore 7 Mile Offshore Grand Prix. So the Deep Impact
wow, did they get a start.
They sure did.
And here come the Mod V boats, and it looks like El Bandito and Statement are getting right to it. And this Statement, the Statement X Insurance, the 29 Extreme, these boats don't want a lot of trim. They want to run flat, and they want to keep the propeller in the water. So Nick has talked a lot with Britt about how to run the boat and how to set it up, and let's see how they do against the defending world champions. And are they national champions too in El Bandito?
El Bandito, national and world champions,
Yep.
29 Extreme. And this, of course, Britt Lilly's boat from last year, which he finished second overall in the series and in the world championships.
Okay, here we are back at the front of the bracket start here.
They're coming back, north. They're coming down the north side of Marathon, down towards us here at the start-finish line. So we've got racing in all classes started here in this first race of the day.
Yeah, this will be the first of 9 laps. All the boats in this race are running 9.
So we look at the Statement Marine team, X Insurance.
And here's the team Farnsworth.
Hancock
Claims, owned by Win Farnsworth, very well-known high-performance boat enthusiast. Elijah Kingery also runs the Bulletproof boat in bracket 500. Is a second-generation racer. His dad, Bill Kingery, raced for a long time in the factory years, Factory 1 and I believe some Factory 2.
This will be a fan favorite today.
Yeah.
It's going to make a lot of noise as it comes by. It's got a lot of history to it as well. That's Hancock Claims, our first boat across, fastest to the start-finish line, and the first lap is in of 9. Look into the cockpit of the Hancock Claims.
That's some old-school thump right there. That's got some nice sound to it. And
here comes OC Racing.
They almost look like they're a little bit off of where they'd like to be. They're not. I would think they'd want to carry the bow a little more than they are.
Lead boat in bracket 2. Now looking at Farnsworth trailing off towards turn number 5.
And here's the H2O Performance 2 conchs, so they're second in bracket 200, and Herbot's out.
Herbot, the local team.
They're a DNS, and then Justice League is running by itself in bracket 300.
Don Erfer and his team.
That's all right. That's kind of an odd configuration to me, to have the guy in the back seat with his head sticking up above the windshield.
And here come our next series of boats. That's the Fountain. And here come our lead boats in Mod V.
What a good race.
X Insurance and El Bandito Tequila side by side. After lap number 1, X Insurance has the inside lane as we follow the boats down towards the old 7 Mile Bridge. El Bandito on the outside. X Insurance has the advantage as they head towards the number 4 pin.
Now this is going to, will this be a situation where Steven being in the boat for so long together, will this start to work to their favor.
And how will these boats deal with any traffic that's in front of them if some of these boats slow down?
Well, you can see that JJ and Nick are not shy about being close to Steve and Steven in the El Bandito boat.
But X Insurance had the lead, but El Bandito has stretched forward and heading out to turn number 5.
Here comes X Insurance back on the inside.
Yep, they have the advantage. And
JJ's no stranger to being close to boats, racing so many years in brackets. But now Stephen Furman went back to the inside.
Yeah, they turned wide, and he's dove to the inside. But X Insurance back out in the lead as we look overhead from the X Insurance helicopter. 1 lap in the books in all classes.
Anytime you cross through someone's rooster tail behind them like that, there is the chance of getting some salt water in your engine, which engines don't like. So you don't want to do too much of that if possible. And here's Elijah Kingery and Jay, right? Let me see here.
Jay Healy,
yeah.
Elijah Kingery.
New team last year. This was kind of Wynn's first big purchase. And then he got the catamaran that unfortunately is going to scratch today in Super Cat. But this boat was Bill Mazzoni's years ago, and they've kept the paint scheme to honor Bill. It still says Taboo on there because that's the team name. So preserving the heritage and the history of the boat is always a good idea. You know, changing the name, they say it's bad luck. So
X Insurance, your overall leader in Mod V.
And that's carrying perfectly right now.
They absolutely are. We're not seeing any of the boats bounce around too much.
I mean, these are narrow boats, so it's not uncommon to get a little bit of a chine wobble. It's not chine walking by any means.
And El Bandito,
but here comes El Bandito again on the inside.
The Sunprint Racing team continuing to stalk them as we watch the Hancock Claims boat
still hold the lead in SV.
As we watch our lead boats in Mod V, great shot overhead.
X Insurance Statement is holding the lead right now. Just off your screen to the right is the El Bandito boat.
Yeah, you saw some of that chine walking that Eric was just talking about as they bounce side to side on the transom.
I would like to hear from JJ the difference in how this boat drives versus the Phantom, because they're very similar. And he was very successful in that 30-foot open cockpit Phantom.
Good shot backwards as we look at those lead boats.
Yep. I'm curious as to why they seem to be so far out.
Yeah. Come back to the start-finish line as OC Racing comes through, continuing lead in bracket class 2. And we'll watch that boat as it heads off towards 4 to 5. And now your leaders in Mod V, it continues to be the X Insurance team.
But look at Look at X Insurance Safe Cash coming up on to get in the mix here.
That's right. Safe Cash running in 3rd. X Insurance, El Bandito, Yankee Tequila, and then Safe Cash through lap number 2.
And now they're having to deal with Justice League in a different class, being a bigger boat, throwing a bigger wake.
Turn that lap at 87 miles an hour. X Insurance, your leader in Mod V, trailed by the El Bandito, Yankee Tequila's Sunprint Racing team.
I'm a little surprised by the Killdalls being off the pace this much. They're going to be coming across the start-finish. Not on your screen, unfortunately. Sorry about that.
So that's the order, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yep, in Mod V. That's 2 of 9 laps completed. But now look at this. Now we're back on the Cortez Fountain Racing, and they're still running 2nd. Fountain still has a legion of fans out there who want to see Fountain race boats.
And they're still racing strong. Many of them.
Let's see here. Who's going to make what move.
The old Warhorse Fountains.
Yep. Now that's El Bandito running in 2nd, and Safe Cash X Insurance, and they're dealing with Justice League.
Great shot looking.
Camera. Yeah, now you look at the old 7. That's the old bridge,
That's
right?
the old 7-mile bridge, which was originally built by Henry Flagler, a massive engineering project. It was the Overseas Railway, and later the highway was built on top. Of course, now we go over the newly built span, but what a fantastic renovation of the old span to for fans to get out and watch powerboat racing. Fantastic shot of the 29 Extreme.
Sponsored by El Bandito, which is Chris Chelios, right?
Chris Chelios,
NHL fame.
J.J. Harrison, also a Chicago Bears fan. El Bandito Yankee Tequila.
There's the shot from the X-Insurance helicopter. That's a beautiful livery that they put on it.
Amazing.
Steven, you know, they know this is a 9-lap race, and they're only on lap 3, so there's a lot there's still going to be plenty to play out here.
The official tequila of race day, they say. Imagine that. And they're on site here in Marathon. They'll be at the winner's circle at the Sunset Grill tonight, where the award ceremony will be. In front of us, we watch Hancock Claims come back through again, so they're 3 laps into their race as we continue to watch the wide shot. I believe that's
Safe Cash X-Insurance on your right, and the Justice League boat on your left.
Yes. Again, go back on top
with the El Bandito sunprint.
Yep, and they're
chasing.
There's your
X-Insurance statement.
There's your overall leader in Mod V, just going off screen, trailed right by El Bandito Yankee Tequila. So
then when we say statement, that is short for Statement Marine, and Nick Buis is the owner of that company, and they build high-performance boats and have a new one coming for Stock 450 later this year, hopefully.
So these Mod V engines are carbureted, 509 inches, naturally aspirated, carbureted engines. And the Sunprint Racing team actually racing their engine from last year. They had to make some repairs to the new one that they put in and won the World Championship with. And we'll have that one back for the second race in Cocoa Beach. And our leaders coming in front of the fans here at the state park at the base of the old 7 Mile Bridge, and those watching on the old span. On lap number 3, it's X-Insurance continuing to lead, stalked by El Bandito Yankee Tequila.
Yeah, I don't think Nick Buis has to worry about looking bad. He's looking very good to me right now. He's running that boat perfect.
Completely different conditions than we had last year. These boats are smoothly running through. Lap number 3, they turned it at 87.3 miles an hour as we look overhead at the boats as they run towards turn 4 and then back to the north leg.
Now that right with these canopies, X-Insurance can't really see El Bandito where they are right there.
Correct.
So they have land-based communication, but this is I almost wonder if this is are Steven and Steve setting up something here, being the veteran duo, and are they just parked where they can't be seen on purpose?
Now, still some residual incoming tide coming through the bridge, and that's what you're seeing there is X-Insurance is having a little trouble keeping the boat in the water and bouncing. You want to keep that nose down. Remember last year in all of that bounce, we had all of that weather, the way the Outer Limits boat ran with Brian Forehand and Benny DiOrio. They plowed straight through it, kept their speed up, kept the props in the water.
Literally. Because the prop wound up in the water, it wound up on the bottom.
Until the entire assembly and surge drive went flying through the air.
And just missed Steven.
Yes.
That would have been
disastrous. And again, back to the weather we're having here today.
Much better.
Much better. We do have that high sustained wind out of the east right now, roughly at about 20 miles an hour, a little less than we thought. Going into the day, we'll keep an eye on it.
I have yet to see Boat Floater come by again. I'm wondering if they have pulled off.
As we watch our overall leader in the Mod V class being chased by the world champion El Bandito Yankee Tequila.
Yeah, there's no give up in Miklos and Furman, so.
Our live stream here on Race World Offshore's Facebook page and YouTube.com is brought to you by Maximum Inflation, presenting sponsor, and
here comes El Bandito making a move.
Yep.
If we could stay with this, let's see if they make the overtake on the inside.
Yeah, they're going to go just out of our camera range.
But now they're on the helicopters, picked them up.
Yep,
Look at this. El Bandito went underneath them after being parked on their other hip for close to a lap.
Nose out just in front of them.
So let's see if they because they're coming towards us now. Let's see if El Bandito holds that lead.
They're turning.
Oh, that's
they're turning on the far side. That's the 3-pin turn.
Yes. Yep.
So we're getting a great shot from Rick Lindsay's helicopter from Parker, his son. And now go back to the wide shot. So that was on the far end of the course. So we watch the some of the other competitors start coming towards us. And then back to the chopper. Okay, so El Bandito has taken a substantial lead in the Mod V class.
They pulled out. Wow. And some of this could be the experience of knowing more setups and what the boat likes and doesn't like.
OC Racing.
This is OC Racing, still out front in bracket 2.
4 laps completed of the 9.
Yep.
As we look down at our leader in Mod V, this is a 29 Extreme.
This is the generation before the current boats that are.
Yeah. Well, so this was built by Mark Spates. All of the boats have the same bottom, but the deck on this boat more aerodynamic, and the boats that are made now are made with the same deck.
And this bottom was also tuned by Scott Porte.
That's correct.
And
El Bandito in the lead now. X Insurance in second.
And the way that works with a Porte bottom is once one team in a class licenses another team in the class can't do the same.
So the Safe Cash X Insurance team running in third just passed through us as we watch the.
That was a big jump.
Again, that's the second time going through that area at the bridge with the last bit of that incoming tide coming in up against the wind that he struggled with. And since that point when we saw him get up in the air and bounce a little bit.
And here's Boat Floater now.
I think El Bandito was able to stay in the water and get better speed, and now
see what I mean? Look at this camera shot. See how the navigator's sitting above the driver and the throttleman?
Yeah.
In the back. That's got to be pushing on that guy's neck with the weight of that helmet at 100 miles an hour.
Justice League.
And I don't see a navigator listed, so I don't know who the third person in that boat is.
Don Urfer, Richard Davis, and that.
And here's the two conchs H2O, the Spectre, inboard Spectre. Most people are used to seeing outboards on a cat, but they're holding their own, second place, keep it on the podium. Now we're back to the lead in Mod V with El Bandito.
And the Cortez Cove team, Cortez Cove Fountain Racing, Kirk Brito and Rob Lockyer.
They're still holding on to second in the Super V class. And that's one of those classes where you hear about there's a lot of other boats that might be coming back out. So it'll be good to see that fleet grow because people do like the noise.
And they're impressive boats. There was a point they were the biggest and baddest boats in all of powerboat racing.
And they're about to be lapped by their competitor.
Yes, as you mentioned, lap number 5 of 9 for the Hancock Claims team. Team Farmsworth, Elijah Kingery and Jay Healy in the 42-foot fountain with the twin 850 Scorpion engines.
They just want to keep it together at this point.
As we watch Hancock Claims now throwing up the big rooster tail to the fans on the old 7-mile span. Live coverage on the Zone 97.7 Sports Radio brought to you by Lickney Marina Marathon. Proud to be the title sponsor for the 7-mile Offshore Grand Prix race coverage on the radio. Lickney Marine is the Keys' largest repower dealer. See everything online at Suzuki of Marathon.com.
And this is the OC Racing boat putting on a good show. Built in Sarasota. Team is from Sarasota. A lot of local sponsors on there. Joey Loveri's done a good job putting this team together. It's been a time consumer.
And and
it's a pretty boat.
Solid showing ever since they entered the series last year.
Yep. Boat looked good in Key West.
It sure did.
Riding very level. Looks comfortable.
Just a Sunday ride in the Florida Keys for Joey and Billy. And here comes your leader in the Mod Vs. El Bandito Yankee Tequila. Steve Miklos on the throttle. Stephen Furman on the wheel. From Sump Rent Racing. They're the reigning world and national champion here in front of the fans.
Newport Richey, Florida is the home base for Steve Miklos.
Turned that lap 89 miles an hour. So they're 2 miles an hour up on the best lap that X Insurance put out.
And they're about 10 seconds ahead now.
Now on overhead, we look at the X Insurance Safe Cash team. They're running in 3rd overall in Mod V.
And they may have the coolest mascot at all the drivers' meetings with their old pit bull.
Yes. Welcome, well-behaved,
Yes.
lots of pets.
Well-behaved,
Yeah.
just sits there and kind of checks everybody out.
We watch El Bandito trail off, heading now northbound to the toughest turn on this course. That very sharp turn on number 5.
And here come the Killdalls.
Still holding on to 4th overall.
Holding on to 4th. And it almost makes you wonder if they had to, like, stop and get going again.
4 laps to go for all of these classes.
And this
Pretty
is,
much.
This,
The
is,
leaders,
this is the Justice League boat here. Another Phantom.
These guys campaigned. Everybody will remember that big
42 cigarette.
yeah, man, it was a very impressive boat, the Justice League, for many years.
Yeah, watching that boat battle with Predator.
Yeah,
That reminded you of the old days of Key West.
Yes, sir. This is the first race of the series right here in the heart of the Florida Keys in Marathon. And the APBA World Series will wrap up in Key West with the World Championships, of course, in November. So it's cool to start in the Florida Keys, into the Florida Keys. And this is really just a spectacular race course at Larry Blyle, a Race World Offshore has set up. Because in the old days, those boats, they would only be as far as that outside leg, close as that outside leg. You could really, they come close to the fans here as we look overhead at your leader in Mod V, El Bandito Yankee Tequila, the Sunprint Racing team.
And they did put a lot of effort into making that deck as sleek as possible. I mean, Steve Miklos was telling me when they were putting the deck on and they had the hatch like down against there was not much room for the exhaust. Everything was compressed as much as they could to get that profile.
And the Cortez Cove Fountain, they're holding second, but they
place.
are a lap behind the Hancock Claims. You may have heard in our microphones pass off the screen of the live stream as they went out on lap
looks
number
like
6.
The H202 Conks is might be down one engine. You see one rooster tail kicking up. So they're having an issue of some kind. They'll try to keep it going. But they are off the pace.
Now really the big race continues to be a Mod V where your top 3 boats are very close to each other.
And people would ask, well, why do they keep going if something's broken? It's because you don't know. Yesterday we saw attrition. Attrition's playing into here, but not that you want it to happen, but something could happen to OC Racing, and they could limp around the course and still win.
Sure. So, OC Racing now
just lapped them. OC Racing just lapped 2 Conks.
At the end of lap number 6. And we'll be seeing El Bandito Yankee Tequila into the screen in a moment. There it is.
There it is. So,
as they expanded their lead, they ran just a shade under 89.
X Insurance still running well in their first race
absolutely.
together. If they're only going to get better as they get more experience and seat time together, the end of the year could be really good. 2
extremes at the top of the Mod V class, and the lone Phantom now through the X Insurance Statement Marine.
And that's their first race in that boat, so they're going to get dialed in better as the year goes on as well.
Running 1, 2, 3. We're down to 3 laps in Mod V. Yeah, so, Steve Miklos was very close to Mark Spates. This is a Mark Spates built boat from 2004.
Yeah.
Steve and Stephen Kildall. Steve bought this boat. He was the second owner of it. And, basically the first build of these boats was all Mark Spates with the old deck on top. And then
And the
Miklos wanted, he had a boat and he sold it. It's off in Trinidad now, in that with the same deck and bottom as the boat floater. He wanted a more streamlined deck, and that's what the Spates had built. Unfortunately, he had passed away very quickly, and Steve and had just delivered that boat to Steve Miklos, and Steve got the molds, bought them from the family, and gave them to Britt Lilly. Because he knew that Britt Lilly was a guy that would be perfect for building those extreme boats. And now boats that are being built are all Britt Lilly with that same mold, the same bottom mold and the same deck mold.
But guys like Mark Spates, Mark Schnepp up in New York built an activator, John Cohen at Superboat, Will Smith built this Phantom here in Sarasota, the Justice League. They're not the big names, but they're all contributing to the sport in positive ways. So.
Beautiful shot of the Hancock Claims team. Yes, Team Farnsworth. They'll be campaigning a Super Cat this year, but that boat is a scratch, unfortunately. The 2014 World Championship winner with Broadco. They had some engine problems here in Marathon. They're passing in front of us here at the broadcast center off the screen on the live stream, but for our live fans here at the
now
park,
they're on the screen. And
there's your overall leader in Super V.
And they did a great job incorporating the sponsorship name into basically the original paint job.
You know, the Super V class was massive. It was a fountain-based class. So,
couple outer limits.
Yeah, and Michel Carcenti, who drives with Gladiator Canados, was a world champion winner a couple of times. Fountain teams, Yachts International, like 2004, 2005, I believe. And those classes were prolific. You saw these fountain hulls; they'd have 12, plus boats in Super V class.
You give these guys some time to get this one dialed in, and they'll be making more of a challenge as the year goes on.
Yeah, Kirk Brito, Rob Lockyer. They're a lap off the pace, but the boat looks very good, and like to see that class built.
Okay. Did El Bandito already come by?
It has not come by yet.
Because on the camera, I'm seeing X Insurance statement.
Yeah, but the camera, let's just see.
Yeah.
Because we can't see from our vantage point what the camera can see here.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing. There is a wake in front of the boat, but who knows what it is?
Because what I'm seeing.
Yeah, here comes the El Bandito for the fans, not on the screen, but in front of us here, the start-finish line. El Bandito through again.
Yep.
And they continue to hold at about 88.5 miles an hour on their lap.
So that should be the end of lap 7.
That's correct. And
here's X Insurance coming by us.
Yeah, Statement Marine. Now, as we look at the stern of the El Bandito Extreme Hull boat on the live stream, they're the overall leader. Off screen, Safe Cash has just come through. They're in third. 1, 2, 3. That's the way they're lined up in Mod V. We look back to action at the start-finish line. OC Racing has led all the way, 7 laps into their 9-lap race. Total miles, 51.3 for all of these boats here in this first race of 3 today. Again, at 12 o'clock, there'll be an intermission. And until 1:30, as local traffic will be able to pass through here in Marathon.
El Bandito's very well balanced boat. They've put their time in on this one, getting it to run the way they want. But runs nice and level, doesn't fly a lot. So when you don't fly a lot, you don't take the hits when the boat re-enters the water. It just stays. And there's the H2O two conchs. They've had better days.
Yeah, continuing to limp around the course. We'll get a chance later on in the intermission report. The mid-race report is brought to you by Porte Performance. Scott Porte put the bottom on that El Bandito Yankee Tequila boat.
Yep.
And he could tell us exactly how that performs. It gives a ride that actually there's, the less deceleration on impact, turns a little smoother. We'll let Scott tell the story for you here a little bit later on as we look overhead at the
Justice
League team running unopposed in bracket 3.
think they like it better sitting down than standing up in that cigarette, or?
I think so, but I don't know. That driving in that thing had to be a lot of fun, but this boat's a little bit easier to take care of, I imagine.
Yeah.
As they pass through in front of the fans here, Harpoon Harry's Two Conchs is officially out of the race, according to race control. And here comes fastest boat of the day, of course. Team Farnsworth Hancock Claims, just one lap to go for them.
Yep, they're on their white flag lap.
As they come around for one more lap here today. Still the biggest race of the day right now going on in Mod V, as you have 3 boats within the stab of the lead, but since lap number 3, El Bandito Yankee Tequila, the Sunprint Racing team, is charged to the front and has probably about a 10-second lead over the X Insurance Statement team. Cortez.
And in any motorsport, 10 seconds is a good. That's a good spread.
You have to. It takes a lot. Boats got to come up with a problem. In supercat racing, you could stalk somebody. Any class, you could stalk somebody, and you hope they bounce a little bit, get out of shape, and scrub speed. You might be able to get around them, but 10 seconds is pretty substantial. As we look again at the Cortez Cove boat, and look now again at your overall leader, getting ready. He's on the last bit of his penultimate lap here at the 7-mile Offshore Grand Prix, presented by Race World Offshore. El Bandito Yankee Tequila.
Yeah, he should be on a white flag lap as well. I don't think they waved them on the pace boat.
I haven't seen them yet, and of course, we're counting them. Yep. Eric and I got them right. Here's X Insurance, continuing to run second.
Heck of a debut for that team in that boat. Nothing wrong with getting on the podium in your first race and leading part of it.
And the X Insurance Safe Cash Phantom. 2 extremes at the front, the Phantom in third. GoFloater.com soon to follow the third extreme in this class. They're running in fourth here today in Mod V. So all of our boats going back around. I think, is OC Racing 1 lap off the pace? You have them the same as me.
Yeah, I have OC Racing needing to complete 8 and 9.
Yes. So,
but when you hear, you're hearing us say X Insurance quite a bit, and that's because of the support that this company gives to this sport. There wouldn't be a helicopter in the air providing those views without it. They have a Class 1 team. They have the Class 7 team, a Class 5 team, and the Super and the Mod V. So we appreciate Rick Lindsay supporting the sport the way he does.
Justice League, Don Erfer and Richard Davis.
That is a busy livery.
Yeah, it's a fan favorite.
Yep. And I believe that's the Safe Cash Phantom. X Insurance, or is that a?
That looks like Safe Cash.
Yeah, that's the Safe Cash.
X Insurance. They're
running a good smart race. First race in the boat. I'm not sure which Phantom that used to be. Who they bought it from.
A lot of boats in. They expect us to approach double digits this year in Mod V. There's a lot of boats that just came out of Britt Lidley Shop LSB in Arnold, Maryland, that just getting put together and won't be ready to race till the next race on the APBA series in Cocoa Beach, including North Myrtle Beach RV. The Speed Marine team, Kyler Miller, is going to debut his boat there. The 151 Express team has an extreme. Remember, 2 years ago, they won the World Championship in a Phantom, so now they're campaigning an extreme boat. And
I would imagine Nick and Ian are chomping at the bit to get in that boat.
I imagine so. I'm sure they've been testing at it, and that's where they cut their teeth. They also race in the 450, the 450R class.
And the 450R boat will be in Cocoa Beach, from what I'm told.
Yeah, they're picking up their season there. Look forward to seeing them out there on the campaign and following all the races of the American Powerboat Association National Series as they go around. Of course, P1 will be producing Cocoa Beach as well as other races, and you can watch the live stream there with Mike Kowalski and your good buddy Matt Trulio from SpeedOnTheWater.com. They do a fantastic job.
And I'll still be providing the recap articles
throughout the year. Yep, Eric Colby will be writing the recaps for all the races, all different organizations. Hancock Claims
They should
Team
be on their lap.
Farnsworth finishing up today. Did not see the checker flag, but
they're still going, so I think they have one more lap.
Yeah, well, we counted them both at 9. This happened to us yesterday. We'll stick with it. As we see El Bandito Yankee Tequila. And honestly, folks, I'm going to call this as the final lap of the day because we've got them at 9, and it was 9 laps. This should be a big win for.
This should be their 9th lap. Let's see if they get a flag.
El Bandito Yankee Tequila. I mean, unless
Hancock Claims is still running on the back stretch.
Yeah, I mean, I heard that they were counting that first lap, and they absolutely they were counting that first lap. But El Bandito getting a little bit of air there.
Or maybe it's just one of those things where they're doing what the bigger, faster boats did yesterday and coming around part of the back stretch and then pulling in.
X Insurance running around in 2nd.
Safe Cash, X Insurance in 3rd.
That was 9 laps through. Live coverage on the Zone 97.7 Sports Radio here in the Florida Keys. Looking again at the Cortez Cove Fountain Racing as well at Race World Offshore's Facebook page and at YouTube.com. The live stream is brought to you by Maximum Inflation Live Streaming. With us here again as they did last year in Clearwater at Key West and now here in Marathon since 1965. Leland Gas Technologies has made the CO2 cartridges that inflate the life jackets used daily by fighter pilots, NASA astronauts, naval seamen, the United States Coast Guard, and offshore powerboat racers worldwide. They rely on Maximum Inflation's reliability when it's needed the most. Get your cartridges refilled at West Marine, Cabela's, and Bass Pro stores. Look again at Stephen Kildall, their 2004 Extreme Haul.
You see that Steal It sticker on the front. That's a new sponsor of theirs. It's a adjustable trailer hitch. So Stephen Kildall does the sponsor procurement, and they also have the maker of the Blaster product, PB Blaster. It's a rusty bolt lubricant that works wonders on seized up old bolts. So nice to see them getting the recognition from the sponsors. That is OC Racing. So they have either pulled off or are in trouble. We can't tell if they completed the. I didn't see them complete laps, but
yeah, they're running unopposed at this point as the Two Kongs charters.
But they're sitting stern low, and that nose is real high. So that's my concern right now.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't like the way that looks, but let's wait and see what happens. There does seem to be that boat you see to your left, the walk around, maybe trying to get to them to check on them.
All right, so last lap of the day. I mean,
Safe Cash X Insurance is trying to catch X Insurance statement.
They're showing the checker flag now on the Deep Impact Pace boat at the start-finish line. So I mean, this will be the official finish of the day.
So the Justice League will complete the laps and get the win. Good showing, good shakedown for the boat for when they do have some competition in 300. And I think their competition in 300 will be Team Woody. And the Fountain.
Yeah, we heard from Billy Shipley yesterday. He said Team Woody is getting ready. He will be in Cocoa Beach. Miss Billy, longtime friend of ours, Chad Woody.
Chad Woody and Billy.
Yeah, they team up for Team Woody's Racing.
Their fountain got kind of busted up, and they took it to their fiberglass guy in Texas, and Billy says it's ready to go for Cocoa Beach. Yep. So
Billy jumps on the live stream with us from time to time. Miss him much. And here is your winner overall in Super V class, Team Farnsworth Hancock Claims. That's Scorpion Power, Elijah Kingery, and Jay Healy. Yep.
Congratulations, Win Farnsworth. Make sure the guy that spends the money gets some acknowledgement.
And here comes your winner in Mod V's, your reigning world and national champion in APBA, Steve Miklos, Stephen Furman, in the El Bandito Yankee Tequila Sunprint Racing 29 Extreme.
X Insurance statement takes second. Safe Cash X Insurance takes third. So
JJ Turk, Nick Buis in the X Insurance statement, and Rick Robb and Scott Jobbin in the Safe Cash Phantom X Insurance. El Bandito Yankee
Man.
Tequila.
They're getting close to that sandbar when they make that turn. If I was carrying speed, I might go around the outside and not polish my prop.
Yeah, that was that flat is very visible. You can see the gray area behind the boat. It's very shallow there.
Yeah, because
they're on the inside of it.
You notice that Safe Cash X Insurance didn't make that move. They're going the long way, it looks like.
And here comes Cortez Cove Fountain Racing. Kurt Brito and Rob Lockyer. They'll take the win out of Sarasota, Florida.
Yep.
They're express engines.
They're second.
They'll take their second place, excuse me.
Yep.
They'll take the checkered flag in second place behind Team Farnsworth Hancock Claims. Unofficially your winner here
Can we get
today.
Can we get the camera to look for the OC Racing boat to see what's going on there? I just want to see if
it was
if
over.
it's under tow or.
It was over towards turn 5, was it? Or moving?
I thought it was back at the other end, but.
Looking at Team Farnsworth, they're heading off on that far leg, and they're still up on plane running. Their day is done. The checkered flag was up and running.
I just don't know if they're coming to get their flag, or maybe they're just headed in.
No, they're heading in. They've gone pretty far away from where the start-finish line is at this point. So racing is pretty much in the books for this first race of the day, but a lot more in front of us here from the Lichty Marine of Marathon Broadcast Center on the Zone 97.7 Sports Radio.
That's the OC Racing boat there, isn't it?
To the right of the screen.
To the right of the screen, just to the inside where the boat came off plane.
Yeah, it sure looks like the profile of the boat.
Yep.
Oh, we're going to get another last shot
there you
of
go. There's Jay Healy
Farnsworth.
giving the thumbs up. You earned it.
Taboo Racing. The heartfelt memory of Bill Mazzoni. As you watch that boat beautifully run off of the heart of the Florida Keys Marathon here.
And when you think
7-mile Offshore Grand Prix.
When you think of this boat and you think of the Wilsons, we got to say condolences. I believe Jackie Wilson recently passed, didn't he? Mark's dad, famous British tonal boat racer. And he was a great contributor to the sport, as the whole Wilson family is. So.
And you can't look at
and speaking of family, the Lilies.
Look at the extreme power boat that Britt Lilly raced last year. Of course, in all of our thoughts throughout this entire season, passing Art Lilly, a legend earlier this season. And for Britt, it was a great day today, because today he gets to go racing. And he races in Super Cat class with us today and later this year in Class 1 as the throttleman of X Insurance today, racing in Super Cat. Dirty Money is the driver. So racing in the books are winners in Super V, Team Farnsworth Hancock Claims, and second Cortez Cove Fountain Racing. Justice League ran unopposed in bracket 300. OC Racing in first in bracket 200. H2O Performance 2 Conks takes second. Keith Herbot Racing had to scratch with engine problems, did not make the start. And a great race in Mod V as Sunprint El Bandito Tequila was chasing the X Insurance Statement Marine team for the first 3 laps, and then was able to get around them, and then from lap 4 on continued to lead and took the win, averaging about 88.5 miles an hour. Second place went to X Insurance Statement Marine, and X Insurance Safe Cash took third, BoatFloater.com fourth.
These are unofficial because even the Mod V boats do still have to go through a tech inspection after the race, and they can't have exceeded too many RPM and some other rules. And then with the bracket boats, they have to turn in their GPS, and when the officials read the GPS units, they'll find out if anyone broke out of their top speed. We didn't really talk too much about that today because we described it yesterday, but the bracket boats that run in these classes have a predetermined top speed that they can't exceed, or they're not supposed to exceed. And if they do exceed that, they break out, and they're assessed a time penalty. So here's El Bandito Tequila with the checkered flag. Gives you an idea of the winds that we're going to be seeing throughout the afternoon.
Yeah, we heard from the course marshal, oh, there were 13. No, I think they're back at 20.
Yeah, they're back in the...
So the forecast was for east winds.
Okay, so that was Stephen Furman catching the flag.
23, to 25. Talked to Leland Stanford, a maximum inflation. He's actually the starter. He's part of the technical team here with Race World Offshore. He said, I made the first throw good. The second one, well, the wind got it. I'm not even sure, man, I'd even be trying to throw the flag in this sustained wind.
Yeah, you gotta want that flag. Where was it that they threw it for Taylor and Johnny held her ankles while she reached over to the side of the boat to get it?
Yeah, that was
last year. One of the races was that Key West?
Key West.
Yeah,
that was absolutely Key West. As we get a good shot, that's our broadcast position you're coming up on right now. There's the VIP area, and there we are. Hey, everybody. Great shot from Parker Lindsay from the X Insurance helicopter of Marathon, Florida. And there's your overall winner today. Congratulations to Steve Miklos and Stephen Furman. Yeah, Sunprint Racing and their El Bandito Yankee Tequila team.
Yeah, it's not bad when your driver's also your crew chief and your mechanic. So...
have a feeling they may be tasting some El Bandito at some point today, and fans can taste it at the winner's circle tonight. That's where the world champion the award ceremonies for the 7 Mile Offshore Grand Prix will be at the Sunset Grill.
I think they found that it mixed rather well with the coconut man's stuff down in Key West.
Thing. It's like, hey, why don't you pour that in the coconut milk, Steve? There's your overall winners today in Mod V.
Yep. Looking forward to seeing more Mod V boats come out and present a challenge. But that was some quality boats in the class today.
We're going to come back with our mid-race report. Again, remember the harbor is closed until 1:30 starting at 12 noon. And our Porte Performance mid-race report. Thanks for being with us here on the Zone 97.7 Sports Radio as we continue broadcasting as well at Race World Offshore's Facebook page and at YouTube.com. It's the Race World Offshore 7 Mile Offshore Grand Prix. And our presenting sponsor, Teasers Entertainment Complex of Key West, and also official sponsors, the Monroe County Tourist Development Council. Monster Energy Drink is the official energy drink of the APBA National Series and Sunoco Racing Fuel. We'd also especially like to thank our sponsoring hotels, Skipjack Resort Marina, Captain Pips Marina, Blackfin Resort, and Kingsale Resort. Let's come back for the Porte Performance Mid-Race Report. Let's recap what happened yesterday.
Now, this is some talent right here because they're controlling the throttles and the wheel with their feet. Don't underestimate the ability to do that at slow speed. That's not easy.
I can promise you, though, there is not an open bottle of El Bandito in the cockpit. Not yet. No, those guys, you got to love them. And
how long has Steve Miklos been doing? Oh, my gosh.
Completely committed to the extreme hull. And, again, for him to get those molds from the Spates family and turn them over to Britt Lilly, it's an amazing story. And Britt Lilly and Steve have a tremendous friendship. So.
I remember when Steve was racing Factory 1, and I think it was a 26 Corsa.
Huh.
And at one race, the water was so big, he put one of those bright orange, like, flexible bike flags on his boat so the other boats on the course could see him in the waves.
You know, that boat has some of the most advanced technology of any boat you'll find.
Yeah, I think it's the only one with suspension seats in the class.
He has they built them themselves. Steven built them both. Steve Miklos got a very bad back accident, and they also have telemetry in the boat that measures shock and
I know
and
they had it in
Gs.
Key West. I don't know if they have it all season.
They have it from time to time, and
they also have a breakaway steering column so that if something happens, basically Stephen Furman doesn't get impaled on the wheel. It'll break away, I believe, just either forward or after the bulkhead. He explained this to me a couple of years ago. But the idea is that if they take an impact, he's not slamming into the steering wheel if he gets thrown forward. So there's a lot of little things that people don't see that they've put a lot of time in on this boat.
They did have some additional equipment in the boat in Key West at the World Championships, and they Ullman Dynamics put the equipment in. They registered over 20 hits in excess of 20 Gs. And there were a few at 24 Gs.
And Scott
ought to tell you
Porte
something.
actually presented at the big industry event that Ullman hosts every year over, I think it's in Sweden, but it's a high-performance summit, basically, of all different engineers and designers. And Scott went over there and presented, and he said that, you know, just the knowledge in that room was amazing as far as what he learned, and he was humbled when the people came up to him and were thanking him and asking him questions, and that's the kind of